What's going on, world? And welcome back on another Tuesday evening to the Double M Show. It's the usual. You know who it is. It's Mr. Mike Nice is in the building.
It's popping, everyone.
You got DJ Mees here. And I'm hoping this week, the YouTube connection works a little better than last week. For all those who keep watching us week by week, thank you guys for bearing with us as we are still quarantined in this new norm of podcasting at the moment. Mr. Mike Nice, what's going on?
Yeah, like you said, it's sad to say this is the norm when it comes to podcasting and doing shows. This is not what we here at Double M had in mind, but we're making the most of our situation to provide a good quality show for all of you that continue to tune in and rock with us and talk with us. So we're making it happen. Again, hopefully, we'll be back to the usual and what we have planned, but Double M still holding it down in the meantime.
For sure. And you can catch us right now, YouTube Live. We're on Instagram Live. Shout out to everyone watching on Instagram right now. And we are also on the book, Facebook. This is a show interactive. Whatever we talk about here on this show, we want to hear from you guys. We want to get y'all opinions so we can get everyone's thoughts, out on what's happening in the world and what's happening in Double M. So, Mr. Mike Nice, without further ado, brother, what is on the playlist?
Yes, sir. So, obviously, Marv and I love our sports, and the Celtics have advanced to the second round of the NBA playoffs down there in the bubble in Orlando. Round 2, they swept the Philadelphia 76ers, and they will be officially now taking on the defending champion Toronto Raptors in the second round of the playoffs, a series that, a lot of people assumed would happen, and it's finally here, and we're going to definitely talk about it and break it down, give our thoughts and opinions, but definitely want to hear from you guys as well. Also, story out right now, a shooting that took place in Wisconsin. Once again, another unarmed, black man was shot by the police 7 times in the back. If you've seen the graphic video, again, it is very graphic. But you see what happens clear as day. And we're going to definitely talk about that situation and dive into it as well. We also want to hit on Tory Lanez, another shooting, unfortunately. The Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion story where, Meg Thee Stallion came out and, pretty much admitted to the fact that Tory Lanez did shoot her and she was shot in the feet. And, Tory Lanez has been silent about the whole situation, but it's just a wild, story in which how it went down, what unfolded, who's not talking, who's talking. Some people are saying Meg Thee Stallion is snitching, she shouldn't say anything. Other people are saying, it's good that she spoke up. All of it. We're going to talk about it here for sure on Double M. We also want to get your thoughts and opinions as well. So, that is the playlist for tonight. Obviously, whatever you guys want to talk about that you drop in the comments on Facebook, Twitter, IG, we're all for it as well. But we're going to dive into all of these topics, all of these conversations, and we're going to get it popping.
For sure. Shout out to J-Mac. J-Mac's in the building on the Instagram Live. What's going on, brother? Yeah, man. Mike Nice, what you want to start off with?
Let's get into this Jakob Blake situation, man. Celtics, we could get to the Celtics, Tory Lanez, Meg story that's happened a little while ago, but this Jakob Blake situation where, again, a young, unarmed black man was shot by the police. And, one thing that's kind of different with this situation and story compared to all other ones that we hear over and over again, this man survived. This man survived getting shot 7 times in the back by police. And, just to give a little background on the story from what I've read, I don't know if you have any other information, Marv, but from what I've read, there was a possible domestic dispute going down, somewhere, and, police were called to the scene. And from what I read, this man, Jakob Blake, all he was trying to do was defuse the situation. He was just trying to defuse the situation and stop the 2 women who were supposedly involved in the domestic dispute from, arguing or fighting, whatever. He was just trying to stop the situation. And going about that, he was there with his children. I don't know his relation to the two men or anything like that. I don't know that part of the story, but he had his children in the car with him. His children, I think his 3 sons, spanning from the ages of like 3, 4, and 8, 5 and 8, something like that. 3 sons in the car, I believe. Video I saw, just trying to get back to the car to his kids. His kids are in the car alone, unattended. He's trying to get back to the car to his kids. And as he's walking, the video again I saw, he's in shorts, a wife beater, walking back to his car. A police officer grabs him by his shirt, and as he continues to proceed to get into his vehicle, close range, the officer has his gun drawn on him and fires off 7 shots directly into his back. I'm not talking about standing from a distance saying, freeze, don't move. I'm talking holding his shirt with one hand and the other gun in your hand, and you let off several shots into his back in front of his children who are in the car. Shout out to Jaylen Brown, who was saying something he said that I agree with. The people in the vicinity can't unsee that. The children in the car, who again are not even older than 10 years old, will never unsee or unhear that situation. It's implanted in their minds of their father, this guy getting shot by the police by close range for, I don't know what he did, what caused the police to want to draw the guns, if he had a weapon, I don't know if he did anything. This is the story I read, but I saw the video and it's just disgusting. And that seems like an understatement in terms of, the situation.
Yeah, I didn't watch the video. I'm having a hard time trying to get myself to watch the video. I don't want to see videos of people who look like me getting killed by the police no more. So I'm making it a conscious effort not to watch it. This is something that, affects all of us very deeply. And when I see men and women, black men and women, get killed and seeing it get portrayed out in social media outlets, it makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me sick to my stomach, and I hope I don't ever come across that video. I've been making it a point to not look at it. I read what happened, and I've read the same thing that you that you were saying, Mike. And the thing that comes out of this is, one, his black kids, right? His black kids just witnessed a man point blank range gun down their father due to the fact of fear, due to the fact of a black man and the potential of it. It doesn't matter. And this is what we keep talking about week in, week out, every single day. How do they see us? How police officers see us, how white people see us, is as if we are savages.
Immediate threats.
And the only way to diffuse a situation with a black man is to gun him down. And when you gun someone down 7 times, point blank, you're gunning them down to end their life. You want to put them away. When you shoot someone 7 times, you're trying to put them away for good in front of their kids. God bless Jakob and his family. Prayers out to them for a difficult time they're about to go through. Jakob did survive. From the reports that are coming out right now, he's paralyzed. He's paralyzed. 29-year-old man. His life is completely changed, shifted. For what? At what point does it make sense for you to paralyze or kill a man off of a dispute or something that you don't feel is going right as an officer? What is your job? What is your job? What are you supposed to be doing here? Is your job to just take out any threat that you see that comes from your eyes? It's sick. And this is why we talk about this all the time. All the time we preach about these things, and it feels like we're not being heard. It feels like nothing can be done. At any point when we leave our houses, we can get killed by any situation, whether you're trying to help two women stop a fight or whatever it is, whatever the case is. Time and time has been proven that whatever we do, we can be killed. And then what's going on now compared to the George Floyd situation is people want to bring, as always, we want to bring up criminal activities from the past. We want to bring up, oh, well, he wasn't a saint, or this guy had a background. Who gives a damn? Oh, he wasn't listening to the police. Since when does not listening to the police mean you have to die? You need your life taken away from you. When has that ever been a situation at all? I can show you countless of videos of people from different complexions, white people, who are not listening to the police, who are not obeying the law, and never once is a gun drawn. Never once. We've seen riots of people of COVID going against COVID and not trying to wear masks. Not once did the police ever threaten any of these white people or have their guns drawn on them or tear gas them. Not once did that ever happen. Flip the script and it's a threat. It's no longer peaceful. They need to show their dominance. Now we have situations where there's lockdowns, there's curfews, and this is not for safety. It's for order. If you think these lockdowns and curfews and things like that are for our safety to protect people from COVID-19, it's not. It's for the police to have more power and to push their agenda. And it's sickening. It's really sickening.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that you touched upon there is just the fact that it doesn't make sense. You could easily compare it to the George Floyd situation, but as a police officer, what is your intention with the gun? Not a taser, not a pellet gun, or whatever other things that police officers can use. What is your intention with a gun to fire off several shots directly into somebody's back? If they're not complying, if they're refusing to follow your directions or order, and you want to get their attention, you want to get them to stop, you wanted to get them to listen, you think that a gun directly into someone's back or neck or whatever the case is going to say, hey, I shot you 7 times. Now you ready to listen?
7 times.
It doesn't work like that with a gun. It doesn't work like that with a gun. You shoot somebody 7 times, and then what are you going to turn to them and say? Are you ready to listen? Because I'm going to arrest you now. Are you ready to comply? It doesn't work like that. You're not shooting a gun 7 times into somebody's back so that they can say, okay, you shot me, I'm ready to listen. Nah. Your intentions when shooting, I don't care if you're a police officer or not. Your intentions when you shoot somebody, that amount of times close range is to take their life away from them. I don't think there's no kind of argument that can be taken there where, well, maybe he was trying. Nah.
He was trying to end his life.
You don't shoot somebody that many times in close range to try to slow their roll and get their attention. And this is what happened here. Again, from the video I saw, yes, very graphic. The guy literally circled his car, opened his driver's seat to try to get in, and then the story is his kids were in the car. He didn't seem like he posed any threat to anyone else. He didn't seem like he was holding a weapon of any sort in either hand. He didn't look like he was trying to attack anybody or be violent to anybody other than to get in his car. The officer grabbed him with one hand, put a gun pretty much to his back against his skin or the shirt or whatever you want to call it, and shoot him 7 times. the crazy thing about this, and is thankful, grateful, the man survived. The man survived. And shout out to J Mac, who I feel like he put some of the details in the chat, if I could find it. I think he said he had surgery with gunshots to his stomach, liver, and kidneys. Had to get his colon, small intestines removed, but he's pretty much paralyzed from the waist down. From the report I heard,
Yeah,
the man's paralyzed from the waist down. He didn't lose his life, but he's now life completely altered because he's paralyzed from the waist down. And
that's the minimum when interacting with the police. That you can get paralyzed, your whole life changes, your whole situation, and just the kids. What kills me about this is the children, man. They're traumatized for the rest of their lives. They just seen someone trying to take out their father, and for how long? Maybe had no idea what was going to become of their father. For the fact that he pulled through, we thank God, we we cherish the blessings that have been provided for him. But this is still horrific. This is still a horrific situation here, and one of countless times that happens over and over and over again. And you can't help but feel hopeless. What can you do? We're still screaming, arrest the murderers for Breonna Taylor. Something that is so obvious that there's killers on the loose. So how the hell, as black men and women, we are supposed to feel safe around the police when there's murderers on the loose? Breonna Taylor's murderers are still there, still out,
still free.
George Floyd, a couple of the officers are not in jail. How? And then you see comments, black people need to comply. We don't trust anything they do. Everything that is set up is against us. The system is against us. A man can get shot 7 times and the officer can be let walk free due to the regulations that they're going to say. Oh, he didn't comply. He went to his car. He could have got a gun. So it was reasonable for me to shoot him 7 times. Oh, thank God he made it.
It's crazy to think about. You bringing up Breonna Taylor, who was murdered.
For no reason. Innocent women murdered.
And her killers are still free. You bring up George Floyd's murder. Half of those police, they're still free, not going to trial. You talking about, Dirk just said in the comments, murder with intent, attempted murder. The way these stories and situations are looking, attempted murder and he survived? Oh, that police officer won't even see a courthouse. The way this system's set up, if you being completely honest with it, attempted murder, Jacob Blake survived. Like you said, we thought this and that. Thank God he survived. All right, police officer, I don't know what I was about to curse. I don't know what his name is, but he survived doing your job. Go about your business.
Right.
That's what the way the system looks right now.
Way to de-escalate the situation without killing him. That's probably a bonus, a huge bonus.
It's very scary and sad to really think about a system that you don't trust, because that's really what it boils down to. It's a system that you don't trust. because there's too many situations and circumstances where it fails black people. You know, if it fails black people. We had this conversation on shows a while ago. What kind of training or what kind of training do officers go through when a situation, again, I read the story, maybe that's not the full report or whatnot, but you need to shoot somebody like that to de-escalate a situation. I know police officers don't only walk with guns.
Why not? Why isn't tasing the first?
You couldn't tasing him to slow him in his tracks is not an option. Bullets in a gun is to come on. Police officers walk with a gun, whatever, but a gun is to end life.
A gun is you feel threatened when this is an unarmed black man.
So it doesn't make any sense to why that was the only resort that police officer felt like he needed to turn to in that situation. And a lot of these situations, honestly, but we're talking about this situation specifically, he needed to turn to a gun to stop him from entering a car with his kids. I don't care. And you say, oh, maybe he thought he was going to the car to get a gun. You have him there in front of you. Tase him. If he's not listening, tase him.
It should have never gotten to that point.
Should have never gotten to a point where you're attempting to take his life because he's not listening.
Jay brings up something that just crossed my mind as well. Is it a crazy idea for them to take away guns from police? Not a crazy idea. It's not a crazy idea.
At this point, it's not. It's not
a crazy idea.
At this point, it's really not.
And obviously, that's going to cause a lot of anarchy. But at what point is enough for us? I mean, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. They have these guns to police us. Just the fact of when a white woman, the Karens of the world, the white people say, I'm going to call the police. What is that really saying? They're using that power saying, I'm going to call someone that has potential to end your life. It's like saying, I'm going to call a hitman. That's when people call the police now against black people, they know what they're saying. Hey, I'm calling someone to end your life right now. You have potential to end your life because this is what is happening around the world.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think taking away the guns from the police officers is the answer. But at this case, it's not far-fetched. What I do think it goes back to the fact that if you're gonna be a police officer, if you're gonna wear this badge, if you're gonna wear this freaking utility belt with guns and handcuffs and tasers and all that, they need to be better trained to be in that position to do all of that. Because in a sense now, with all these situations happening, it feels as if, you're just giving police officers badges and guns. You're giving anybody badges and guns and letting them go do whatever they want. That's what it kind of feels like.
Jenny on Instagram says, I feel like the whole comply and you'll be safe is absolute BS. Breonna Taylor was at her home. Comply.
That word
compliance is not meant for us.
That word honestly
it's not meant for us.
Comply. I can't even fully understand what it means anymore to comply. When black people get faced with a situation when they're dealing with police, what does comply look like? I don't know.
It's not meant for us.
I don't know.
There's no way you can comply and be safe. Like Jenny just brought up Breonna Taylor. Like Breonna Taylor was at her crib. The poor young woman was at her crib and died at the hands of police for no reason. And the police are free right now. If you want to look up the word injustice, that's there, right? It's right there in your face. And if you think the shooters of Jacob Blake is going to be in prison, I doubt it. Let's see what else we have on Instagram. Some comments. It's the militarization of policemen. If they were trained to be anything other than killers, then owning guns wouldn't be such an issue. We said it. We said it on the show. the whole training, everything needs to change.
Whatever the process is, it's not working.
Jacob Blake, there's no reason Jacob Blake should have been shot. One, he should have never been shot. And the fact that he was shot 7 times, and he has the chance to tell his story is incredible.
So rare. The way these police officers sometimes are gunning for people, for black people, it's rare that a man will live to tell the story.
And the only reason people are going to listen to Jacob's story is because this one was caught on camera. There's thousands of black men and women who go through horrific situations with police officers, try to tell their stories and get silenced. It doesn't get listened to. Only reason Jacob's going to be heard is because it was caught on camera.
Yeah. Again, prayers to him and his family, the kids who had to witness that happen. It's tough.
Sad.
It's tough.
So sad.
Again, it goes back to the comment again we made earlier. With shows we've had before, the training, the process that go through to become police officers, it's broken and it's not working. I said this before, comments, quote that I saw from Chris Rock, and I'll say it again. Some jobs in this world you can't fumble away. You can't be bad at it, have an off day, because you're putting people's lives and whatnot in jeopardy. Similar, he compared it to pilots of an airplane. The pilot of an airplane f's up in the what's the outcome? And I don't have to tell you guys what the outcome is. If a pilot of an airplane that is thousands of feet in the air, what is the outcome if that pilot is messing up? Similar to police officers, you have a job where you're to protect women and children and men and keep them safe, and you F it up and you just taking people's lives away from them. We've seen the situation too many times now. It's gotten to a point. Marv's here saying he don't even want to see it. He's making a point not to watch videos like that. And I hear everything saying, but it's sad that it's even to that point where you got to feel like that.
It's not right, man. It's not right for us to wake up and see ourselves being slaughtered. It's not this is not a normal thing. I don't think people understand that. No other race does this. No other race wakes up and just sees themselves being killed.
Nah.
This happens to us every day. Every day. I could be out having a great time, but at the end, the back of my head is, damn, I gotta make it home. However I drive, I gotta make it home so I don't interact with no type of police officer. Nobody else has to think like that. Nobody else has to go on social media and be like, I hope there wasn't a killing today that doesn't traumatize me. That doesn't put me in a dark hole. Then I gotta go to work the next day where it's not being talked about, and I gotta compliment. I can't even speak. Keep that shit within and build up that trauma. You got little kids seeing black men and black women getting slaughtered. How are they thinking when they see police? What's going through their heads?
Comment coming in from I just saying, I think you're onto something, Mike, because we give so much leeway to officers because they risk their lives, quote unquote, when we stop making excuses for police who abuse their position. It's so upsetting, and it is. I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Police, they get leeway. And they need to be held accountable. If they're gonna, if the numbers are gonna continue to show what continues to happen that we witness day in and day out, week after week, month after month, year after year, they need to be held accountable. Point blank, period. No ways around it. They need to be held accountable for the things that are going on. And, again, people say, well, it's not all police. Don't look at all police like that. Police, not all police are bad. I'm sorry, but y'all, there's bad apples in the bunch that are making it look bad for all of you. I'll say that. And I know people that are in the police force or trying to become officers and whatnot. You going into a field where it just looks bad for you right now. It's just the truth. It looks bad for you right now. That's not to go and say, well, every police officer is good or bad or whatever. It's a field, it's a job, it's an occupation where right now they're not trusted. I don't care if your police record or since you've been on duty is clean and squeaky and you do everything by the book and y'all got to stand across the board on y'all right now. That's just what it is.
It's as simple as, like I said before, with this bad apples, just a few bad apples. If there's always a few bad apples, it's not the apple, it's the tree. And the tree in this situation is the systemic situation of the police. How it's brought up, how they do their training, how the system is always against us, and it was built to be against us. It was made this way on purpose so they can go kill a Breonna Taylor and still walk out clean. This is the situation that we are in. I don't want to hear about bad apples. It doesn't matter about bad apples and there's good apples. The whole tree is corrupt. The whole damn tree is corrupt. And what can we do? That's my issue about all of this. What can we do? Everyone's sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, it's tough right now. It's tough. We got some more comments coming in.
So Jenny's saying that it's the usual how's your day, and you really have to sit there and mask the hurt because people are not ready to have those conversations in the workplace. And that's a workplace culture thing. Everyone's sympathetic unit you bring to the conversation to the table, and you really say your part. Going back to the conversation of just the trauma and things that we have to deal with as people of color. Jamal on Conflict on YouTube saying that they all fit the description of a killer.
That's honestly what it is right now. When you come, if you're walking down the street, driving down the street, and a police officer is posted up in a car, standing up, as a black man, I'm automatically gonna tense up. I haven't done anything. I'm not doing anything but driving down the street, walking down the street, minding my business. But as soon as I see that uniform and badge or car, whatever, part of me is gonna just tense up, just off rip.
Perfect example. Maybe last month we were all at the beach. A couple of us, maybe 10 of us at the beach, having a good time,
just hanging out,
enjoying everyone's company, hanging out. And then there was a police officer patrolling, like as police officers do at the beach, patrolling in his car, and he stopped, or he or she, because we didn't get to see their face, he or she stopped right across from us, so they're directly in front of us, and they just stayed there the whole time we were at the beach. They just stayed right in front of us, and we're all there, people of color, and it switched up our whole mood. We didn't want to laugh more. All we had to do, we kept looking over our shoulders to see why the officer was there, to the point we left. We left the situation because we understood that, hey, if we keep staying here, something unwarranted might happen. So we'll just leave. That is not normal. Where you are at a public spot and you leave because there's an officer across from you.
Because we felt uncomfortable.
You feel uncomfortable. And we felt like if we kept exhibiting joy, something bad was going to happen to us. That is not a normal feeling. And I hate that kids are going to have to grow up with that same feeling. Where they're having a good time and they got to get tense up. Go play basketball on an outside court and a police officer drives by, you're not going to feel safe. You're going to start asking, should I even be playing basketball here? Questions you shouldn't be asking. That's the reality that we're living in.
Not normal. It's not normal at all. You should not have that feeling when the people who are told are here to protect and serve you. You should not have that feeling when they come around. You should have the complete opposite. In a perfect world, unfortunately, there's no such thing. But in a perfect world, police officer comes around, drives around. You should see them saying, you just say, oh, there goes the police, going about their business. Cool. And you should think nothing of it, feel nothing of it, especially if you're not doing anything wrong, you should be fine. But you could be doing nothing as simple as playing basketball with people on an outdoor court. Or like the story you just explained, sitting at the beach, just being outside, enjoying people's company. And your whole mood situation changes. You don't want to laugh as loud as you could possibly laugh. You don't want to maybe talk as loud as you could maybe talk, or just express joy and emotion the way you can, because that could be taken the wrong way. That's not normal, point blank, period.
It's not. Any other comments on Jacob Blake? Any other feelings that you guys are feeling right now? I know J-Mac said earlier he's getting mad all over again. Man, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we have to feel this way. But the conversation cannot stop. J-Mac brought something up earlier that we can transition into sports. Basketball players, a lot of them had a lot of pushback in going into playing basketball into the bubble. One of the major things that Kyrie got a lot of slack about was saying, there's a lot going on in our world right now. Do we really feel like it's okay that we should be going into Florida while, Black Lives Matter should be the main focus on our mission? Kyrie got a lot of slack for it. I know a lot of players did feel what he was saying. Obviously, the Jacob Blake situations has happened, and you can see that a lot of players are pissed off. If I'm remembering correctly, I know Donovan Mitchell, he spoke out. LeBron has spoke out. Jaylen Brown. I'm trying to remember. I think it was, I can't remember. The player says something like George Hill. I think it was Hill who came out and said, we shouldn't even be here. Like, this is why we shouldn't be here right now. We're here playing basketball when our players, we got our people dying at the streets. We shouldn't be here. And they're showing that frustration. And, another way where you feel helpless. They're perfectly fine and probably the safest place in America right now. And outside, there's a war going on. So this thoughts on, how this players probably feel like they're stuck into a system right now and they have to abide by these rules due to money restrictions and all of that. But this is a reason why they didn't want to come to this bubble.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of the players who may be on the fence, some players didn't go, some players may be on the fence, but everything that's taking place in the world that we've talked about on this show, whether it's tonight or other nights, it's in their mind as well. It's on their mind as well. And a lot of the players that you just named, they're not shying away from the conversations and bringing it up, and when they talk to the media or on their own social media, they're not shying away from any of it at all. There's reports out there of possibly the Toronto Raptors boycotting their game in protest of the situation that has taken place with Jakob Blake. And it's tough. I'm thinking these players, in a sense, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say they've had, I guess, a couple weeks or whatnot of, in the bubble, enjoying time, playing basketball, whatnot. Obviously, everything that's happened in the world is their mind, but they have this time where they're down there focusing on the game and whatnot. They're in the midst of playoff runs trying to aim for a championship. And now this stuff happens. Another situation happens where their minds and heads are getting twisted and turned and pulled. Like, damn, trying to get a championship, but this doesn't even matter right now. Like, there's bigger things happening in the world. So, players in a tough situation, obviously, even being down there while, they're still trying to use the platform they have to speak on it. Like, there's players who, as soon as they sit down for the little media sessions and whatnot, they don't hesitate to say, look, the officers that killed Breonna Taylor need to be arrested. Or, look, we need justice for Jacob Taylor. Like, they don't shy away from it, whether it be, post-game, media interviews in the locker room or whatnot, or right there on the court, right after a game. There's players that don't shy away from it and bring these things up. And I mean, I would not be mad at any player who says, like, look, this is another situation that just goes to show me that being here is not important. I'm leaving right now. I wouldn't hold that against any player who felt so strongly towards this all that says, look, screw the NBA, screw the bubble, screw Orlando. I'm out. I want to go protest and be with my people right now because I'm sick and tired of this BS. I wouldn't hold it against any player right now who wants to do that.
The NBA said, hey guys, listen, we're going to make sure that you guys are not silenced. We're going to make sure that whatever goes on, we are for the movement and we're going to push the movement. And when you come here, because that's the reason why players didn't want to come. It's like, are we going to deter from what we're really trying to talk about? And NBA came out and said, no, you guys are going to have all the free will to do what you guys need to do. They added the names on the back, the Black Lives Matter on the court and whatnot. NBA, let's put your money where your mouth is. Let Toronto boycott. I would love to see it. I would love to see Toronto and Celtics say we are not playing game one. That's gonna F up the NBA's money. It's gonna F up a lot of things. But if it's really about Black Lives Matter and it's not about these playoff games, I want to see the boycott. I want that right there. Shows that it's bigger than this. We're not talking about a regular season bubble game. This is a playoff game. This is something that means a lot. Boycott it. I brought up the story before about the Clippers during the whole Donald Sterling thing where they were tinkering about having the jump ball and both teams walking away off court just to show that they're not going to stand for what Donald Sterling is. There's another opportunity right here where you can really shake things up. What is a boycott? Boycott is something that shakes things up, makes things very uncomfortable for the grand stature of the NBA and whatnot. That will make things very uncomfortable. That will get the whole world talking about what's happening to Breonna Taylor, what's happening to Jacob Blake. You want to get people really talking? You boycott that first game of the Celtics Raptors. Oh my God, would that be something? That would be something.
Yeah, that really shake up. Obviously shake up the NBA world and the sports world, but people will take notice because it'll be all over the news, all over the sports that this team or these teams came onto the court and decided to walk off the court or to take a stand in protest of everything that's been going on. It's huge. It'd be huge. Hey, I'm a Celtics fan. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. But if they decided not to play their playoff game to Thursday because of they want to boycott the situation, I'm not holding anything against the organization, the team, the players, the coaches, nothing at all. Because something we've been saying now, something the players have been saying, it's bigger than a game of basketball. It's bigger than sports. Same thing we've been saying in the sense of, COVID-19 being out there. It's bigger than sports. This situation where people are dying in the streets and getting shot point blank in the streets, losing their lives, it's bigger than a game of basketball.
And it's difficult, man. I can't imagine as a black man being in this bubble, and what you're probably feeling guilty. I know that's something Fred VanVleet was saying. You're probably feeling guilty. You're feeling helpless. You feel like you're kind of like a slave in this situation where you have to work. You can't go out and protest right now in this. You have to work. It's a messed up situation.
It's tough. It's tough. It really is. Like, yeah. In a sense, it's in the NBA's kind of eyes, yeah, this pouring into whatnot. They're like, look, we still got a business to run. Playoffs are still going on.
Right, we'll let you put your names on the bat. We'll put the Black Lives Matter.
Put your jersey on and go out there and play. Like that's pretty much what it is for them. Just go out there and do your thing and play, because we still got a business, a league to run. Question coming in saying, why do you think so many people in sports find it difficult to shine a light on the important causes? Why aren't more people interested in sacrificing their livelihood for the better cause?
I think you said it right there. Their livelihood.
This is their job. This is the way they support themselves and their family. Like, people have different jobs and occupations. A lot of these players get paid a lot of money, but it's their job to go play a sport. That's how they get a paycheck. They get all this money, then they end up buying houses and cars and getting things for their families and whatnot. They need to continue to support that, pay for them things by playing this sport and getting a paycheck. These players aren't performing. They can't get the next contract from a team. They can't get signed by a team to make money to pay for this and that. Like, they just like, in a sense, regular people or people who are not athletes or whatnot, you need to have a job to make money to do things. So, I mean, that's what it boils down to, which makes it tough, because, yeah, you may want to, fight for the cause, speak out, or do different things. But in any job, you can only say so much until somebody says, look, you're talking too much. You're fired. You're doing too much. You're cut. You're doing too much. We're releasing you. Like,
That's why there's only one Muhammad Ali. That's why you see that after Kaepernick, there's not many that did things outlandish in that situation. It's you are sacrificing a lot, and at the end of the day, I'm not even going to say it needs to be sports athletes to lead the movement. They can be involved, but it's a collective. It's a collective of everyone. We can't just be looking at LeBron James and say he's the guy and he needs to lead us as black men. Everyone has different agendas. There's leaders out there that we need to start focusing more on, and you giving them the platform to lead us. See some of the comments here. I agree. It's just crazy that in business they encourage you to take risks, but when it comes to political risks, it's blasphemy. Example for Colin Kaepernick. Jenny says that owners and investors love their black athletes, but when it's time to support causes like Black Lives Matter, there's a pause. Yeah, I mean, NFL's the perfect example. Look at the situation in Dallas right now with Jerry Jones. The ignorance and arrogance both of Jerry Jones is crazy. NFL is trying to teeter on the right side of things. They're trying. They have no choice right now. We've been saying it's very easy to make the right decisions in moments like this. Goodell has apologized about the kneeling situation and saying, we didn't understand. And you still got Jerry Jones saying, hey, I see what's going on with Black Lives Matter and everything, but there's not going to be any kneeling on my team. We're not doing that. We're not going to be disrespecting anything like that. I hear the players and I support Black Lives Matter, but we're not going to be doing any kneeling. That control of an owner and still not being able to listen and still not being able to understand what is going on is pretty much what's going on all around of the United States. Being afraid of being uncomfortable. Why do you think when Black people get killed or get gunned down, like in Jacob Blake's situation, everyone wants to run up and find out their criminal activity? So they feel so white people feel comfortable. Oh, thank God he had a criminal background.
Thank God he robbed that corner store.
Oh man,
a couple years ago, and that makes sense now.
He wasn't a good guy. He wasn't a good guy. So there was a reason why the officer needed to gun him down. He wasn't no saint. Now, America doesn't like to be uncomfortable. And everything right now about this whole Black Lives Matter is uncomfortable. You see us, people in the comments, I love what they're doing with the jerseys and the Black Lives Matter. There's people right now watching sports sick to their freaking stomachs. Sick.
When Red Sox put that billboard up on Mass Pike,
oh my!
The comments on Twitter of I've been a Red Sox fan for 30 years, 40 years. You put this up on the highway on the Mass Pike. I'm never watching a Red Sox game again. I'm getting rid of my season tickets.
And these are people you went to school with. These are people you see at the grocery store. These are just the regular Joe Schmoes. But they refuse. They refuse to try to understand why a quote like Black Lives Matter is so important to us. It's crazy. It's really crazy, the world that we live in. And it's not gonna go away anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, you're gonna have people out there who feel that way, similar to what we just explained with, Red Sox putting up the Black Lives Matter banner or whatnot. But the best thing, the best thing people can do is continue to use their voice and their platforms to make it a conversation still. I don't care how uncomfortable it makes anybody, the conversation got to continue, because once it stops, those people who are uncomfortable will be like, okay, finally, we're not talking about it anymore. Okay, finally, it's not a thing anymore. The Black Lives Matter movement and talk is finally quieted down. Nah, that's not what we want.
Jenny says America doesn't like to be uncomfortable when it comes to Black issues. Brock Turner raped a girl behind a dumpster, but he's a young man with a bright future. I remember Brock Turner, 17-year-old, I believe he was, and got off with a slap on the wrist. You have Stephen A. even brought up that story. I forget his name, but the white gentleman who shot down 9 people in the Black church.
Dylan Bastard, something like that.
Yeah. Stephen A. brought up his story again the other day, and just how, a heinous terrorism act went and got a Big Mac on his way to jail. Tell me what Jacob Blake did to deserve 7 shots.
Try to check on his kids, man.
Tell me what Jacob Blake did to deserve 7 shots. When white people can go into a Black church, kill 9 people, and on the way to jail, because he was alive, healthy, completely alive, healthy, handcuffed like he's supposed to be, on his way to jail, said, yeah, can I get the number 5, please?
That's wild.
Extra ice.
This is why we have this platform here, to make sure these conversations continue. Got people tuned in on across different platforms, whether it's IG, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube. We want these conversations to keep happening. Double M, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. This is what, Marv and I want to continue to make happen. When these situations pop up, I don't care what's happening. You could tell me, The Celtics, Patriots, Red Sox, some Bruins won a championship, something. I don't care. I don't care. We're going to have these conversations on the show. And we're going to have your comments ready to go always.
Jenny said something crazy. He said, Turner, we've been in quarantine longer than Turner's been in jail. And that's just the reality of America right now. What did child just say? This is America. And it's not going to go away. For people who are uncomfortable, you want to be mad, you want to cry, go ahead. This is just the beginning. Because you got to remember, we're still in quarantine. Like the movement's going to get bigger. People are shut down. I already told you how I feel about these lockdowns and curfews right now. How is there to create order. But we're not going to be in quarantine forever. Things will start to pick up. I like seeing, sports programs and things like that. NBA, what they're doing, having Black Lives Matter and having the players be able to speak up. But that's just minimal. That's minimal. There's so much more that needs to be done. We don't care about Black Lives Matter being painted on the floor. We want the freaking murderers of Breonna Taylor to be arrested. That's what we're asking for.
More justice, man.
That's what we're asking for. We don't care about your damn Black Lives Matter Netflix specials or freaking have it painted on your storeways. That's all nice and dandy. Arrest the murderers of Breonna Taylor. These are the things we are asking for. Justice is what we're asking for. So if you think all of these little things that these businesses are going to finally silence us, it's going to make us quiet, it's going to make us feel good. Sorry, America. Sorry. That's not what we're here for. Get to some of the comments. Someone said it's best. Good thing Black people want justice and not revenge. Someone said it best.
Whoa.
Good thing Black people want justice and not revenge. I'm not even gonna comment on that. I'm just gonna let that sink.
That's crazy. Good thing Black people want justice and not revenge. The one of different thoughts and ideas that just ran through my head when I just heard that, I'm gonna keep them to myself a little bit. But that's a wild statement, and I'll just say this because the way things are in this country right now, in this United States of America, it could get really ugly. And it's not at that point, but the level of ugliness it could reach is there. I'll just say that.
Oh, it's been there, and it's been shown throughout. If you remember, in Dallas a couple of years ago, there was a killing of a Black man, and then police officers in Dallas lost their lives, and that's where the whole Blue Lives Matter was created after that. I mean, it's there. It's there. And I don't know how long Black people are going to be able to withstand.
You about to lose IG. We coming right back. They give us a time limit. We'll be right back, IG, for sure. What a statement.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Once again, we just want to our thoughts and prayers to Jacob Blake, his family, his kids. I just don't. I can't comprehend, and I don't want to understand what they're going through right now. Those poor kids. We see stories of Black people losing their lives, and like, okay, they were they're leaving behind children, and that hurts. And to find out that their kids were right there in the car, hearing and seeing that, man, I wish that on nobody. I wish that on nobody. So, once again, the prayers and thoughts go out to Jacob Blake. I'm so sorry that he has to be paralyzed and he has to live his rest of his life like that.
I look forward to him telling his side of the story of the situation. That's one thing, and a lot of these situations are missing. These victims don't have a voice. They can't speak from their perspective of their side. And, thankfully, prayers up that he's going to have a chance to speak on what happened, what took place from his perspective.
I wish him all the blessings, man. I hope it's tough. I can't even, whatever comes out of this, if he can sue, countersue, whatever, it will never be enough for what he's lost. So, prayers up to them, man. It's horrific, and the saddest part of it all is this won't be the last time we have a story like this. That's the worst part of this. We knew that going in with George Floyd. We knew that George Floyd wasn't going to be the last we hear of something like this. And since George Floyd, I promise you, there's been more police brutality. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. And it won't stop until there is justice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, we'll always be here with these conversations ready to go. And we always appreciate, everyone who's tuned in with their comments, their thoughts and feelings as well, because this affects a lot of different people. Even if you're not directly affected, you weren't there, you're not family, like these situations, you still feel something towards it. You still have thoughts and feelings and emotions that are brought up. So
let's switch gears a little bit. Let's Double M. We touched on a lot of topics here on Double M, and a topic that we spoke about, I believe, 2 weeks ago. It might have been 2 weeks ago that we brought this up in the entertainment world, was between Tory Lanez, hip hop artist, R&B artist, and Meg Thee Stallion, two artists who really were, in 2020 made their mark. Meg, probably one of the hottest rappers out there right now. She's been a trailblazer, just killing the game for the past year and a half right now. Everyone knows her story. Torey, a veteran in the game, but 2020 was really good for him during quarantine. Specifically, he had the whole quarantine radio. I even came on here when we were speaking on quarantine. I'm like, I was never a big Torey fan. Like, when Torey drops, it's not something I run to, but I came, I'm like, I've really become a fan of Torey through this quarantine and getting to see his personality. He's seen, giving out a lot of joy to people during these tough times, giving them all the praises in the world. Talented artist, just was never the biggest fan, whatever. Fast forward, we hear about the shootings. Obviously, it's never been confirmed who shot what, but we pretty much said it. We know Torey did whatever he did. Meg this past week finally came out on Instagram, pretty much telling the story of what happened. There was an argument in the car. She left the car, and Torey shot at her feet. That right there, I don't care about Torey's side of the story. That right there, Torey, you're the lamest dude I've lamest person ever. You and I'm not using lame. I'm only using lame right now because Mike don't like when I cuss.
Family show, bro. Family show.
The only reason why I'm using lame, like, there's no amount of words to explain how a black man, you with a black woman, you're supposed to be their protector at all times. And not only you not get to protect her, you shoot at her. Mike, you said it. When you shoot at somebody, like,
you got an intent.
That's some serious harm you're trying to do to that person. Some serious harm. What kind of person does that make you? Torey's the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst. I can't support him. I can't do nothing with Tory Lanez because that right there is something that I can't deal with. I can't have around me. I can't have that energy around me. Music, whatever. It's just that's disgusting. That is disgusting that you would try to shoot at a woman. Like, what can ever possess you to do something like that? Unless she had a gun at your head and was trying to take your life as well, there's no reason ever to try to shoot a woman who clearly has some trust with you. We've seen them out together, hanging out multiple times during the whole quarantine radio. So a woman who trusted you. The Tory news is disheartening. It's disgusting. I wish that more hip hop artists would have spoken out against it, about what Tory's doing. The only person I've seen that spoke out about it in the hip hop world is Bun B, the OG. But other than that,
I spoke about it as well. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see T.I. But T.I. seems like someone who would speak up on it. But I wish there was more. It should be an outcry. It should be an outcry. If it was the other way around and Tory got shot, the whole hip hop world would have been buzzing. Would have been going crazy for Tory. Keep that same energy with Meg.
Yeah, man. It's a wild situation. Details not really come out with Meg kind of coming out and confirming what took place, and everything you said, Marv. I agree. I don't care what kind of situation, what kind of argument or interaction took place. From the story we have, the information we have, some kind of altercation or argument took place, and it seems like Meg was just trying to remove herself from the situation, and in doing so, Torey was escalated to the point where he needed to shoot at her. That's a no. That's a no. No bueno. No. No. It's like you said, Marv. Sometimes you got a gun and you shooting at somebody. Your intentions are pretty blatant when you got a gun trying to shoot somebody. And people, he shot her feet. I don't care if he shot in the feet, he shot her finger. You shot at somebody. Period. Don't matter. And it's bad for Torey right now. Bad. I want to hear. He's been like MIA. I don't think he's in jail or anything. So she didn't press charges, and she explained why she pressed charges. Because the reason why they come out vocal about this or tell police anything at the time is because she's hip to everything going on in the world, and it's a bunch of black people in a car arguing, and police show up. She trying to keep things calm because at the end of the day, she felt like as if they see a situation escalated to a wide extent, and she tell them there's a gun in the car, she was afraid for her life. She didn't necessarily do anything or have a gun on her, but she just afraid of the situation in general because black people involved, Torey or whoever had a gun. She didn't want the whole car to get sprayed up by the police just because they're all there. So she said in her live, she kind of kept quiet about it then and didn't really speak on it. But I guess people online are harassing her or Torey's publicists and stuff denying the situation where she felt like, look, You're not gonna keep denying and lying on my name. You do that. I'm to speak out and defend.
So
I was
stupid.
quiet. I was shut up about it. Whether you feel like she should have said something or not said something, she decided to be quiet about it because look, it happened. She in a sense moved on with her life, continued with her life and career. She had her surgery and whatnot, and she was going about her thing. But when people keep lying on your name and speaking out against you and denying this, that, and the fourth, she couldn't take it anymore. So she needs to speak out on it. She's not going to be, in a sense, lied on or disrespected and whatnot, or called out to be making up stories or whatnot. So she spoke on it. I can't blame the girl for that. I can't blame anybody for that.
Torey's silence is
and
so remarkable.
And the thing is, that's why I'm saying, like, I want to hear his side of the story. And I don't mean I want to hear his side of the story because I believe he has something different to say that's going to make me say, oh, well, now I see where he's coming from. And now I understand why he shot her. Nah, I want to hear his side of the story because the fact that he's just silent about this whole thing and you're in the public eye, you're a celebrity, you know, during this whole quarantine, locked in the house, when it came to the hip hop world or the world of entertainment, my man was at the top of the mountain, keeping people entertained. And we all know it. I talk about it from my friends. We talk about it. Torey was keeping people entertained with this whole quarantine radio. I'm talking about 500,000 people tuned into his IG live just to see him talk to people, drink, smoke, whatever the hell he was doing. 500,000 people tuned in to watch this one man on IG, to the point where IG owners and creators had to shut him down or do this and that to slow his roll because he had some wild stuff popping up on IG, honestly, where IG had to, you know, slow him down and suspend him for whatnot. So the fact that you could be this big and then the situation pops up with your name on it and you're not saying nothing.
He's a pussy. Sorry. He's a pussy.
Like if we gotta compare it to the Chris Brown situation, in the sense it's similar situation, I guess.
Similar situation, worse.
It's much worse, yeah. But Chris Brown took his L. You know, he spoke on it. You understand? Like Chris Brown didn't hide from what happened. You know, he took a black eye. You know, there's people out there who still can't stand Chris Brown for that situation. You know, I'm not saying they're wrong or they're right or whatever, but like Chris Brown stood up and took and accepted what was coming his way. The fact that Torey Lanez right now is wherever the hell he's at and hiding, not saying nothing, speaking to nobody, social media statement, nothing. I'm not talking. He got to drop a video saying I'm sorry, but not even a statement or any kind of acknowledgement of this situation where you shot at somebody. You have nothing to say, not a word.
It's crazy, and the fact that you behind the scenes trying to leak out different types of stories of what's happening, and like you shot at a woman, bro.
People out here leaking false stories.
You're a scum. You're a scum. You gotta be the biggest scum, bro. You out here leaking false information, trying to defend, not even information that you didn't shoot her, trying to give reason on why you shot her. What is that?
I don't know if it's Napoleon complex or whatever it's called, or what, because I mean Torey Lanez is a small guy. He's only 5'3" or whatever it is, and I know Meg Thee Stallion kind of tall. You know, I don't know if he felt some type of way, or I don't know. But there's no way, shape, or form was he justified in doing what he did. Excuse me.
And then, so the other side of the story is, did Meg snitch? Or did she not keep the street code? And then she did Torey dirty. Like, 99% of people who are saying this stuff, y'all don't live by none of these codes. Like, what are you guys talking about? The people on internet are so weird. You guys are weirdos. The woman got shot.
She could have told the police then and there, like he did it right there.
Like, she got shot and still protected him.
Wild. I don't know, friendship, loyalty, whatever you want to call it. She didn't say anything for weeks.
Bro,
She went to surgery. She could have had nurses, doctors, police officers all in her room asking her, like, what's the story? Who did this? What happened? And she didn't say a word.
not a damn word. Protected you. Went on, like you said, Mike, continued on with her career. Dropped a crazy song with Cardi.
Woo.
You know, like things were going to look up for her, but you want to be in the background and start leaking shit. You're not even talking. You're nowhere to be found. Hey, so let the snitching thing go. She didn't snitch. What are y'all talking about?
If you want to snitch the wave right now with this story, then
You're stupid.
You got to get your.
The woman got shot. What are you talking about? She snitched.
Get your stuff in check if you want a snitching mindset with this story.
It doesn't make sense. I don't know if people are just saying that because they want to act like they're from the streets, or they want to have points, a point system. Hey, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. But like Mike said, let that thought process, that thought go. Let it go.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I'm happy, and I'm happy Meg came out and told the truth too.
Yeah,
I'm happy she did that.
We
should know what type of dude Torey is.
She's supposed to sit back and let her image and reputation get bashed over and over again. Like, come on now. It happened several weeks ago, and only within the last week she came out and said what she said. So she's supposed to continue to just sit back and let people come at her and, call her a liar or whatever, making up stories. How much is that is she supposed to take? Like,
Jenny said, I saw somewhere online that this is a great example of how black women continue to protect black men, but the energy isn't reciprocated. What are your thoughts on that? Excuse me. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. How I want the black men of hip hop to speak out. It's complete. It's horrible. It's a horrible statement, but it's true. It's true. As black men, we have not done enough to protect our black women, and this is just another example. That's why it's frustrating. That's why things like this are very frustrating, because this should never happen. We should be in the front lines protecting black women.
always.
And it's always the opposite. When black men get killed, when you go out in the marches and things like that, who's on the front lines? It's the black women. They got our backs at all times. So we need to do the same. And when black men get attacked for situations like this, we can't come out and say, "Oh, it's not me. Oh, it's not my friends. My friends don't do that. Oh, it's not us." We got to take ownership of what's going on. Bun B and T.I., the only two dudes in hip hop talking out on what happened with Torey.
Now, you're not even talking about two guys that are like big time relevant right now in the hip hop game.
What?
Where's all the artists who've worked with Tory Lanez? He had a bunch of artists pop up on that Chinks Tape 5. Where they at?
That's crazy to me.
It's wild, man. At this point, again, I don't know if there's any going to be legal action, or Meg is looking to take any legal. It doesn't seem like she wants to go that route of trying to take legal action against Tory. Like, she doesn't seem like she wants to take that route, but she just wanted to set the record straight on what happened. Like, obviously, it's up to her in a sense if she wants to take legal action over getting shot at, which again, it seems like she's not trying to do. But at this point in time, Tory got to come out and say something. I don't know where you hiding at, who you hiding behind, but you got to come out and say something.
And now it might be even too late.
It might be too late. You're right.
It might be too late. Like what are you gonna say now?
Your career was already kind of took a major hit with this, but the more and more as this goes on, and you in silence, and you just going down the drain even more and more.
Torey's really absent.
No one has heard or seen from
That's
him
crazy.
since this situation. And it's not even like he can't be, he hasn't been heard from or seen since because he's in jail or anything. He's not locked up. He's up. Where are you, Torey Lanez? We don't know.
Jenny adds, and accountability. Gotta call out friends, cousins, relatives that are not doing their part in protecting Black women. And I completely agree. Accountability is something that even I myself needs to work on calling out people close to me if I see anything that is wrong. So I completely agree with you, Jenny. Jay says, and back to Torey, Jay says, right, what does he even say at this point?
You can say sorry. Does that mean a lot right now?
I don't
Probably
think
not.
he can
But I
say
mean,
sorry. I think it might be worse if he just says sorry. I don't know what he could say. He did.
what?
Let me look it up. He did do that.
Larry Johnson. Which Larry Johnson? A couple Larry.
Like the football player.
The former running back Larry Johnson?
Yeah.
Made a comment defending Tory Lanez.
And Tory Lane liked it.
And Tory Lanez liked it.
And that just shows you what type of dummy Tory is. What kind of person he is.
Larry. So the most he's done right now on social media is like a comment defending his actions.
Here's the tweet. Ladies, if you date a man who coined the term, quote unquote, demon time, if you get shot by him during demon hours, be accountable for your stupidity. Hashtag Tory Lanez.
He liked it. Well, Larry Johnson, what kind of, that's a, nah. Wow. And Tory Lanez liked that.
First of all, Larry Johnson, you're a horrible person.
Yeah, well, that comment is.
I don't know if he was trying to be funny. Like, people say some stupid shit on Twitter trying to get retweets.
Yeah,
no one was thinking about Larry Johnson.
Like who? You said Larry Johnson. 2 different Larry Johnsons maybe 3 different Larry Johnsons popped up in my head. To be honest,
nobody thinking about no damn Larry Johnson, bro. Stay back to wherever you were at.
I don't know, man.
Dirk said he even beat on women. I mean, so that just tells you what type of person he is.
There you go. You go.
Don't. Who asked for your 2 cents?
And even if you drop your 2 cents, do they not help or support the situation whatsoever? I don't know, man. At the end of the day, like I said, I need, or everyone needs, or maybe they don't need or don't care, but Tory Lanez got to come out and say something. I think that's what it boils down to. Tory Lanez needs to come out and make a comment on this situation. You know, that's just what it is.
Jenny said, I hope this Johnson guy doesn't have any daughters or sisters or anything, because that's way out of place. It's horrible. He probably does. People will say anything on social media if it's going to get retweeted. People will say anything. Sad, man.
Where are you, Torey? Say something. Try. Just try. I don't know what, but it's just getting worse and worse for you as time goes on. But I mean, we doing a lot here on this show. A lot to talk about. We got to switch gears one last time. You know, the show's been kind of heavy. We all know sometimes the shows are like that. We got to get into serious topics like this for sure. But we got to switch gears and get back to the sports world a little bit. Because, yes, while, you know, we had comments early about what NBA players being down there and, you know, there's a lot of other things going on in the world. At the end of the day, basketball is still taking place. Games are still being played. And in several weeks or so, the NBA will be handing out a trophy to a team in the playoffs right now. One of these teams that makes it all the way to the finals and wins it all. And the Celtics are one of those teams trying to make their way to an NBA championship. And they're taking on the Toronto Raptors in the second round of the playoffs. A series where, you know, I've thought about it the last couple of days, especially when it became official that the Celtics were facing the Raptors. And damn, Raptors are a deep team. And I say that in terms of the fact that the Celtics can't match their depth. The Celtics do have some star players who can go off. But once you try to get into the depth of the team, Celtics can't match the Raptors. That's what scares me when it comes to this series, this matchup with the Toronto Raptors and the Celtics. Celtics don't have the depth that Raptors do. If I didn't look at the stats, I'm just going off of what I saw for social media and whatnot. Their last game against the Nets, the bench put up 100 points.
Bench put up 100 points.
You mean they can turn to their bench and them guys can come into the game and put up a combined 100 points? Celtics bench combined barely struggled to put up 10 points in games. That's my worry.
The Raptors' 100 points thing was an anomaly.
Like, I understand, the game was a blowout. Yeah, they played their guys a lot.
It was designed perfectly for the. First of all, they put up 150 points.
Damn, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they put up 150 points. I mean in total.
Oh, the Raptors, yeah.
In total, they put up 150. The total, they put up 150 points. There's not going to be many basketball games in general that's going to have 150 points. And then the whole thing was an anomaly. Players got hurt. Other guys filled in. And yeah, but what you're saying is true. Raptors have a great team. They're not top heavy. They throughout from 1 to 10 have players who can ball, and their size. They have great wing players, and then they have they have everything you need. The big men who can play defense, the point guard. They're a well constructed team, well coached team. Nick Nurse just won Coach of the Year, and they play defense very well. So it's going to be a tough battle for the Celtics. I always said it's going to be the toughest battle for the Celtics in the Eastern Conference. Out of any team that they play, the Raptors were going to be the team that I feared the most. When I was saying it, I didn't know the Raptors were going to be our second round opponent, but that's where the cards have landed, and that's where we are. Now, with all that being said, I still have the Celtics beating the Raptors due to the fact of what I saw from Kemba. Kemba's the X factor. And I think with Gordon, obviously it hurts not having Gordon fully healthy as the fourth man. That's huge. However, sometimes you get addition by subtraction. With Gordon being out, it has freed Kemba to be more assertive. And what I've seen from him against Philadelphia and how they annihilated Philadelphia in 4 games has given me hope for the Celtics due to the fact that Kemba can get a bucket wherever he wants. He's that type of special offensive talent. And then you add in Jason Tatum, who's been the best player for the Celtics since February, and he's continued that into the bubble, his superstardom. And then Jaylen Brown as well, pitching in with 20 points and having clutch performances in the fourth as well. I think those 3 players, that's all you need in the NBA. Obviously, you need a great team. But if you have at least 2 superstars, they can carry you to win. It's been proven many of times. And I think the Celtics have enough firepower that they can outlast Toronto Raptors. I don't think it's going to be easy. It's definitely not going to be what we saw in the first round. Toronto's going to give you everything. And it now is up to can Tatum and Brown, how mature are they when they are having slumps to continue to fight? Do they have the in them when they're down by 20 to go on a run to try to battle back? Does this Celtics team have it? I don't know, and that's what they're gonna have to prove to us in this series.
Yeah, I've said it over and over again. Once this match was set in stone, I really feel as if for the Celtics to make it through this series, which I don't lack faith that they can do it. But Kemba, Tatum, and Brown need to be clicking on all cylinders. And the reason why I don't lack faith that they can do it is because they were clicking on all cylinders when they swept the Philadelphia 76ers. Are the Sixers and the Raptors the same team? Absolutely not. But regardless of the fact, Tatum, Brown, and Kemba showed that they can consistently be aggressive, attack, and get buckets, score points, carry this team. Again, the Celtics don't have a bench, point blank, period. I go as far as saying in terms of bench and depth, the Celtics probably have the worst in the playoffs. With that being said, their starting lineup is full of all-star players. 2 all-stars that made the all-star team, 3 that were playing at an all-star level, because Brown easily could have been on an all-star this year. And earlier in the season, I'm talking beginning of the season, there was initial talk of, Celtics have like 4 all-star players because Hayward was playing at an all-star level. Now, fortunately, we don't have Hayward, but you still have 3 guys who are playing at an all-star level. First time in however many years that a team has 3 20-point scores. Celtics are going to need that consistently to beat the Raptors. I believe it's going to be a tough, hard-fought battle series because at the end of the day, I believe, in Brad Stevens as a coach. And even though I look at the team in the roster and say, damn, I hate when he brings in Langford and Robert Williams and the lineup and whatnot. Like, it sucks to see sometimes, but as a coach who tries to get the collective best out of the team and the effort, I believe Brad Stevens can do that. Does he have the talent? No, the team doesn't have the talent all around, but I think coaching-wise, he does a hell of a job. But I think at the end of the day, for the Celtics to get through the Raptors, those 3 guys have to be on their game. They show that they can do it. They just have to keep doing it. There can be no game where, and I'm saying all 3 of them. Like, I don't even think with the Raptors, there can be a game where, Tatum and Brown are going off, but, Kemba's struggling today. Like, they can't be that. Those last 3 games, 3 games against the Sixers, those 3 guys are all clicking, all hitting, all producing in some way, shape, or form. They need that where not one guy can't fall off. All 3 of them have to be on the game to get past the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go as far as saying all 3 of them have to have great games in order to win. I'm always a believer. If you have one guy going off,
someone drops freaking 40.
Yeah, if you have one guy going off. You have one guy going off. He's gonna carry your team, and you have a team in where you have 2, maybe 3 guys that can do that for you on a night where they can just go for 30 or 40 and just carry the Celtics. But in general, yes, as a collective, those are the 3 guys. Those are the 3 guys you really, and Kemba becomes that more important. I know that we always say we want Tatum, Brown, and then Kemba to be the 3rd option. But as it's looking right now, it's Tatum, Kemba, and Brown as the 3rd option. Just how it's been playing out, and you need that right now because Kemba provides more of that scoring punch. Jalen, you want him to drive. He wasn't able to do that much with Joel Embiid. Marc Gasol is a lot older. He's no Joel Embiid. There's going to be times when it's just Ibaka down there or Siakam. Jalen needs to take advantage and go in there and get busy. And all the Celtics in general, this is a whole different series, whole different type of team that plays. And yes, Toronto plays very good defense.
Sure do.
But Celtics have shown a couple times pre-pandemic and in the bubble that they can get busy against Toronto when things are clicking. They've shown it many of times. So Celtics got to be poised, and they, like you said, they got to be ready. My only concern is how do they respond when Toronto does smack them in the mouth? Because Toronto will. How does a 22-year-old Jalen, 23-year-old Jason, and 23-year-old Jalen respond to that? Are they going to be able to get themselves to? Because these are young guys, but they're pretty much veterans. They're the ones with the experience of playoff basketball. Are they going to be able to carry the team around? Say, hey guys, it's okay that we're down, just a run. Let's get them. Or if they get blown out one game, can they come back the next game and be refocused? That's what I want to see. That's my only question with this Celtics team.
So Derek asking, how many games do we think it's going to go? I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 6 or 7 game series. I
Right.
can see it going back and forth like that, where a game goes where one team is really dominant and then the next game, another team is I can see it going back and forth like that all the way down to 6 or 7 games of just back and forth battling. It's going to come down to great players being great. I know Nick Nurse won the Coach of the Year, but Brad Stevens can always be in the running for that every year as well, because since his time with the Celtics, he's continued to produce solid seasons with many different types of rosters. So, it's going to be a full blown. I see it's going 6 or 7 games possibly.
You have Celtics in 6. If this wasn't in a bubble and we're talking about home courts and things like that, then I think it will go 7. But it being in the bubble, I think Celtics can try to take an advantage, get the first couple of games, and really get busy. I mean, I'm being very optimistic about it, but I've been saying Toronto's the toughest team you're going to face in the East. And it's here. This is the toughest battle. You beat the Toronto Raptors, knowing that you're going to be getting Gordon Hayward sometime in the future. Things are really looking up for you as a Boston Celtic.
And the Celtics on a roll right now. Like,
yeah,
they came into the bubble. They went like 1-2 or 1-1 to start. Celtics have won like 8 or 9 games in a row. So hopefully, they got a couple of days here to get some rest and, maybe nagging injuries, rest up, whatnot. But Celtics have been on a roll. They've been collecting and clicking on all cylinders. They just need to keep it going. Again, Toronto will be tough, but I have faith in Brad leading the way and these young guys and Kemba who have all been hot that, they can carry them through and get through the Raptors. But it's going to be a great series to watch either way. Going to be great basketball that we should witness between these two teams. Yeah, for sure.
I think this is going to be this is going to be classic. I mean, if you watch the playoffs, there's been good basketball. Yes. There's been good basketball being played, and I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. Not putting a blind eye at what's going on in the world, but I've been enjoying the basketball that's been played all around. There's been surprises. There's been teams going at it. So I think this Celtics-Toronto series might be one of the best matchups in this playoffs.
Yeah. Can the Celtics knock off the defending champions? Thursday night is going. Oh, with these games, it might be afternoon.
Right, Thursday evening.
Thursday evening is going down for sure. Celtics versus the defending champion Toronto Raptors. We'll be watching. I know a lot of you tuned in will be watching as well. Just look forward to a great series coming up between the Celtics and Raptors.
Sure. This has been a wild show.
Whew.
A wild show, but everything that's been spoken about needed to be said.
Yes.
And we will continue. Once again, thoughts and prayers out to Jakob Blake and his family. Your thoughts, your prayers, everything, man. We're with you. This is something that we can't stop talking about, and
we will not.
We won't stop talking about at all. Appreciate everyone who stuck with us for almost 2 hours here.
Oh yeah,
on a Double M episode.
Comments coming in left and right. Love it all.
For sure. So, do you have any last words, Mike? Next?
Nah, I'm just grateful and thankful. Again, to those on Facebook tuned in, those on IG tuned in, those on YouTube tuned in. We want to say thank you for real. We do have some info to drop though.
We do?
Yeah,
we do.
During this quarantine at home time, different people find time to do different things or whatnot, have a little fun, stay entertained and active. So myself, my guy Me's here. Shout out to our boy, DJ Irk. Had a little fun and dropped a little music video of a song we put together. Just having some fun, having a good time. If you have us on social media,
about to go on Double M's Twitter right now and put it up.
Oh, get the link. Yeah, if you have us on social media, a little music video thing is out there. Just having some fun. with the guys. Check it out. Marv, get the link and drop it in there, I think. But
I do have something I have to say, and unfortunately, it's not on a high note. But it is something that needs to be talked about.
Okay.
So in Dallas right now, in Fort Hood is where a base, an army base that's been that's placed in Dallas. There has been soldiers missing, that's been gone missing, and no one knows what's happened to them. There's 6 that gone missing, and they were found dead in the Dallas area. And now more news of more soldiers that have gone missing. We have a Massachusetts own Elder Fernandez. I actually am great friends with his brother Elton. We went to high school together. I know Elder very well. He was placed in Fort Hood currently. He's currently was placed there. He spoke out on sexual assault, and he's now is gone missing. This is something that's happening right now in the United States. His family's out there in Dallas. They're out there looking for him. It's a scary situation that's happening right now. I just want to put my thoughts and prayers out there for the Fernandez family. And, we're really hoping that they find him. We're hoping for the best. Any type of news. It's been all over the news right now. And, scary times. It's scary times that, you got people out there trying to fight for this country, and they end up going missing in your own country. It's wild. It's wild. So, just want to put that awareness out there on this show. Just, thoughts and prayers out to the Fernandez family, and we're hoping for the best.
Thoughts and prayers out indeed. I wasn't hip to that situation, but it's never something you want to hear about, read about, go through. That's thoughts and prayers out to them for real, man.
Yes, sir. Elder, hopefully you come back home, bro. And
wow.
With that, it's another episode of Double M. We're here every Tuesday talking that talk, and we hope to see you guys again.
Appreciate y'all. Shout out to you guys.